Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third and final round. For me, it was a four-round tournament, but I took a bye in the fourth round of the $15 January 24th tournament. As a reminder, the games are game 60, so they are a bit quicker, 50% quicker, in fact, than the Tuesday night Swiss, what I'm used to. I don't really suffer from time clock problems for the most part, that's not a huge issue for me. But maybe that means I should be spending a little bit more time. But I think of all my problems, 99 problems, but my clock management is not one of them. Anyway, I was matched against Nicholas Bloch, and I meant to mention this in the other videos. I was 3 for 3 with facing off against college students, which is great. I did notice that in the Open there were a lot of little children. Obviously, these little kids are incredible at chess. But I've said my piece in videos long ago that they're coughing, sneezing on the pieces. It's kind of gross. So I actually really like playing, college students or, older, younger, well, just not that much younger, because they obviously have a sense of decor. Plus the aftermath, the analysis, it was really productive with all three of the guys. So with Nicholas Bloch, he was mentioning that he hasn't played much over the board. He plays in his regular chess club at Tufts. He mentioned that the games are basically mostly unrated and wide range in skills. So it's kind of unclear how good he is. In fact, his 1400 rating is provisional. But I think based on how he played, how he was thinking about the game, I think it's probably pretty accurate. Which is to say, would hardly be a cakewalk, pushover, whatever the saying is. But I was going to give it my all. I gave a spoiler that, because this is now a day later that I'm recording these videos, kind of sporadic, as there's a blizzard going on. I did end up winning this tournament, which is great and pretty exciting. I also have mentioned how I'm starting some new openings. For example, I played the Jabava in Game 2. And I'm actually working on a different opening to combat E4. Largely, I'm going to be honest, for those of you that have watched my games, and again, the videos get 30 views or so, so some of you probably watch them religiously, which I really appreciate, and it's super cool. You guys know I'm probably playing the same stuff, and against Matthew, who said he had no idea what he was doing, literally played perfectly. It does make me think that the most common defense that I'm kind of going for is a little too simple for anyone who's intermediate plus. And I'm probably intermediate to intermediate advanced, whatever the weight distinction you want to make it. So in light of that, I started a new opening. And because my next Tuesday game is white, I'm probably going to release the Kraken. I'm going to fire it away in the February Swiss tournament, especially against people I've played already. However, in this one, I was going to go with my Pierce, and I was hoping for an exciting line, but we didn't get that. We've had this exact same setup. You guys have probably seen this. This is a pet line that I have basically through this move. There's a lot of responses. I was moving a little too quickly. Nicholas moved kind of slowly. In fact, he got into mini time trouble. He didn't move as slowly as Connor in Game 1, who literally got down to a minute. But definitely the time burden wasn't a small issue for Nicholas. What's funny is I wouldn't say blundered, but I actually messed up my opening a little bit. I'm supposed to play knight d7 here with the idea of then when they castle, I can either break the pin or I can play bishop d6. I just got the move order wrong, and I thought that I wanted to break the pin here, and the answer is I don't. It's not a bad thing, but I just messed up. Which is a good lesson is I actually, even on openings that I've played a lot, I probably could stand to do a review session. I think I've mentioned my own training. I've written flashcards for myself, and I have gone over stuff, but I'm probably going to review my Pierce lines, even if I'm not planning on playing it that much anymore, at least for a little bit. I want to know them backwards and forwards. Nonetheless, he then castles. I played bishop e6. The reason why is I thought that he actually now, if I actually thought in this position, he has knight d5, which I thought would be pretty powerful. Actually, no. When I break the pin, I can just trade. Yeah, trade. It's not that. It's that I thought that rather than castling, he could trade himself here and then play knight d5. Obviously hitting both the f pawn as well as the c pawn. And I would probably have to do something like bishop d6 and literally just give him a pawn. That would be a bad move. Something like this. And honestly, I think I'd be a good amount worse. I mean, I'd probably play here or something like that. I'd be a good amount worse. I'd just be down a pawn for nothing. So I actually realized I kind of blundered. However, he didn't spot it. Then I played my bishop here so that if he tries it now, well, in this position I can just, again, just take. But let's say he trades, and then plays knight d5. Now I can just take. And it's not clear what he wants to take with, but let's just say he plays rook takes. I can just eject him right away. He plays back, and honestly, I think actually black is better already. But he doesn't spot it. He plays bishop d3 in this position, which I think is a bad move. Computer's giving it a question mark. I wish I didn't have these annotations on, but it is what it is. Yeah, basically the reason why is this is a very passive move. Ideally, white develops the bishop to c4. So given that I was able to stick my bishop on e6, it already meant that I had a small opening win. Yeah, and what's funny is he's trying to get his pieces out. When I play bishop to c5, I'm targeting the f-pawn. I thought he had to push, but then I realized even in this spot, rather than going knight to d5, I actually thought he had knight to b5. It wasn't the most dangerous ever. I thought I could just retreat my bishop, but it meant that he didn't actually have to push necessarily yet, because again, my bishop is tied down to defending the c7 pawn. But it doesn't happen. He plays f3 instead. I think, again, he lost his opportunity. And then finally I say, screw it. I should have played c6 a while ago. I'm taking away his knight jumps. I'm limiting the mobility. I like playing this when my king is more on like c8, or basically so I can duck it into c7. When my king is on e8, that doesn't apply here. But yeah. But already at this spot, given I have the bishop pair, I felt very comfortable. And again, I've played this opening like 2 minutes. Worth pointing out, even though I know it, I did make a small move order mistake, and luckily my opponent didn't capitalize on it. But even if you know your openings, sometimes you don't know your openings, if you know what I mean. Anyway, he plays knight to ge2, just trying to develop. It makes sense, and I have a few options here. I can finish my development of my minor pieces by going knight to d7. The problem is, I don't need to reinforce my dark square bishop because he traded his off. So this is free to basically chill on this diagonal. And moreover, I don't think I'm ever jumping into b6 because then I kind of block the escape square. So he may be, like, in a world where it happens, he can sort of quasi-trap my dark square bishop or make me move it to a spot I don't want it. So instead, I play h5. And when I've gone back through this line, especially against Matthew, I realized that I can be more aggressive on the king side with the idea of, in all those positions, you know, rook g8 comes with force. I wanted to push my pawn so that he wouldn't be able to just easily play g3. I basically wanted to slam it on h4 and then go rook hg8 with the idea if he responds by pushing, I can then go trade, and I've achieved something there. Furthermore, I thought that this line was better because now that I'm staring down on the g1 square, my dark square bishop is controlling it, the g-pawn could become a real weakness. And if I ever can basically slam my rook on the second row, then I am in much better. So that was the idea with h5. Basically, it's just to monkey down h5, h4, create space, and ideally, if I again have it on h4, he doesn't have these knight jumps. I restrict more of his movement, and his pieces basically are less mobile than mine. Generally, the player who has, you know, less scope is generally the one who's suffering, you know, cramped. He plays king b1. What's funny is the computer gives this a question mark, I guess, but I thought in game this was a very strong move. I thought, because one big concept is, like, let's just say here, no, let's say on his turn, that he wants to play f4. Like, he probably wants to open up the position, but it never works in these positions because I have this bishop move, to basically e3, checking his king and then winning his pawn. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a Boston Congress game where I played against the kid with an awesome accent, and he made this exact blunder. He actually compounded it by then taking with his rook. I won a free rook, and the game is very, very simple. But that's the idea here. That's kind of like the trap, where they want to push the f-pawn to open up the center of the board onto my king, but it doesn't work until they move their king, because otherwise I just have this free check and I win a pawn. Anyway, needless to say, he gets out of this check, so I thought it was a pretty reasonable move, but the computer doesn't like it. We'll find out in the analysis. I have not analyzed this with the computer, for the record. I did just do this, and I did the game review real quickly. Anyway, I decide that at this point, even though I could continue with my monkey strategy or even get my rook in the position I think where I want it, I decided it was probably makes more sense to finish my development and hopefully connect my rooks. That was kind of my main task. So I play knight d7. It's not like the sexiest move. I don't really need to defend this bishop, but maybe I'm going to swing my rook to d8. Maybe I'm going to move my king up. The world is my oyster. Anyway, now he pushes f4, and now it's real decision time. So I think this is the first time. Remember, I banged a whole bunch of moves out in no time. I built a pretty sizable time advantage. I need to think, and I thought takes was bad because I thought if he then goes knight takes, first off, my pawn in some lines is like under attack. He's easily able to support his knight. Moreover, at any point he can just trade. Trade. I don't have the bishop pair any longer. And for some reason as well, I thought this was giving his rooks an active file. Because right now they're like with a bishop on d3. I think it was kind of misplaced there. It's blunting the power of the rook. So I didn't like taking. I could be wrong, of course. But I thought taking and then knight takes is just good for white because he's kind of like untangling his pieces. Obviously, if I allow f5, that's a problem because right now, given I move my knight here, I can't move here, it dies. I can't move here, it dies. I can't move here, there, obviously, it dies. So I can't let him trap my bishop. So I thought that the only reasonable moves, if I don't like pawn takes, would be what I played, which is the bishop here, which I thought made sense. Or another move like, knight b6. And I wasn't sure where I was necessarily jumping. But then if he then follows through, it gives me a retreat square. But I just thought that I saw this position and I didn't like it. I thought black would be worse. These pawns are suddenly doing a whole lot. It's not so easy for me to attack the base of the pawn chain on e4. So I played what I thought was a very reasonable move. I'm clarifying why I played h5 at the moment to basically make a strong outpost square for my bishop. I'm pinning his knight where it does not have many moves. And potentially, depending on how he pushes his pawns, like I can move up, I can live on this diagonal, where again, I'm zeroing down. It's worth noting, this is the open file, the D file. My g4 bishop gives me control of that. So that's why I thought that I achieved something out of here. However, Nicholas, I think, plays a good move here. He breaks the pin and relocates it to a more active file. Because it does look like all this stuff is going to basically get thrown down on the B file. In this spot, I didn't like takes for all the same reasons. Takes. I didn't like trading my bishop because I thought that his knight on c3 wasn't necessarily doing much. It has completely restricted movement. Maybe it can jump out wide to a4. But yeah, if I just take, he then reroutes or takes back with the knight, and I think he's pretty happy with that. So I didn't like taking here either. So instead, I evaluated king e7. This is a move I strongly considered, again, with the idea of connecting these rooks. The move I played, which is b5, which I think is a good move. And I considered h4 here. Those were the moves that I basically thought about. And I thought they were all very valid. I ended up going with the b5 idea because I saw that if I'm able to land b4, at the moment it doesn't work because he can jump out wide. But obviously he can't go to d5, he can't go to e4, he's stuck, he can't go to e2, and maybe he can bring it all the way back to d1. But I thought that basically b5 with the idea of b4 at the right time was like crushing. I also thought that maybe, given my rook is still on a8, I could make sense of why it's placed there by then also going a5 and essentially pawn storming his king, which is like something I need to do in this position. And when I've played my other classical games, I've played this position. Matthew Wesley was the first one I lost to, and I've gotten the position several times. But I realized that like creating my own attack when they queenside castle is basically very strong, and it should be my flag to get the pawns rolling. So I realized that, and I thought that was the strategic idea in the position. There was nothing stopping me, and if anything, I thought that I had a lot of the play. I did kind of regret not playing king e7 because I do think it's important to connect my rooks, but whatevs. Nicholas surprised me. I told him when we did the recap, I thought this was a very bad move, I didn't say it like that. I said I think you made a. I don't think I would have done that. And he said yeah. He just didn't want me to trade. I said well I could have traded last turn if I wanted to. Clearly, if I didn't make that trade, then it's not good for me. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna trap your bishop maybe. And I said yeah, but like I can always free it. Like right now, it would be trapped if he's able to get h3 in. But anyway, he makes his knight very passive. And on one hand, yes, I can't trade my bishop for the knight, but it does mean I need to either move my knight. This is a one candidate move, because then if he pushes here, I can retreat all the way back to either d7 or more likely e6. I mean, this kind of welcomes this with tempo. Not sure if this is good for me. Again, the idea is a5 and just kind of go hog wild. But I then decided, nah, I should just play h4 myself. I kind of wanted the pawn here. I want to push my king up, and I want to basically play rook hg8 and attack the weakness. Again, he can't put a rook to defend it. And if he pushes, I can just trade, and then boom, I'm winning a pawn there. So I saw all those lines, and I kind of like the strategic implications of h4. Again, with a plan of meeting h3, with just now tucking my bishop back on h5, and again, going into the same plan, it's not so easy for him to attack my h-pawn, and I just thought black was considerably better here. Instead, he shocked me with g3, and I thought I was like a glutton for options here. I could just take. I don't think that's best, but then takes, and then something like takes here or something. I didn't think this was anything special. Instead, what I saw, and okay, so the computer doesn't like my move. I thought that maybe he was maybe he was losing a rook. I didn't kind of calculate it fully because I couldn't quite see it, but I did see that basically he's now rooks on the run. And the reason why is I'm now attacking his rook here. He can't deflect my bishop. He moves back. The only spot to not lose it immediately, d1. And this is definitely where I made a little mistake. What I need to do here is actually, I think, pawn takes. No, I don't think I want to do that yet. It's really hard to say. Well, I played the wrong move here. I play bishop f3. It was based on a faulty calculation. For some reason, I thought that he had to play the knight here. And then I was planning on basically going b4. And the only spot he can move his knight is here. And for some reason, it's still not even working in this spot. I thought that maybe his e-pawn was falling. I think what I saw is basically trade. This is pinned. Something like this. And I thought in this line, I'm winning the pawn. But this is too far forward and ridiculous. And I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't realize he could just play bishop to e2 here. And when he played this, I realized I made a miscalculation because I don't really think I have anything anymore. The e-pawn is not hanging. I don't have time to push because if I push, he just takes, I take, and honestly, he can just take back. He's up a pawn in this spot. I mean, they're terrible pawns, and he's opened his position, so I think I have adequate compensation for it. But this is definitely not what I want. So instead, and I regretted not trading. I realized that once I'm in this position, I probably should just trade. Probably takes back with a knight. And I think I've lost my advantage, to be honest. But I kind of compound things, and I keep my bishops on. Because I thought I have the bishop pair. They were doing a lot. Maybe I'm going to play h3. Maybe I'm going to take. I'm not sure. But that was at least my thinking. Nicholas plays bishop g4, and it's interesting, right? He's attacking my knight. I only one move. I want to defend the square with the knight as well. It's also worth saying that I'm now defending the a4 square, so my prospects of b4 have really enlivened, if you will. But if you notice the position, one thing that I did see is my bishop is getting a little tender in the sense that it doesn't have a lot of squares. If I move either here, the rook sweep it up. I can no longer retreat it to h3 because his bishop takes it. And I can't move it to f3, bishop takes it. I guess I could sacrifice it for a pawn, and then knight takes it or whatever. So if he's able to attack my bishop, it's a small problem. I did see, of course, I could play h3, kind of lock it down over there. So I never thought I was quite losing it. But based on all that, once a player, he plays h3 himself, and I think what he had said is he thought that he was trapping my bishop. However, I wasn't so sure. I didn't think he could play, and like the truth is, I did see the right idea. I just saw it a turn late, which is wrong. But I thought that I should do this in-between move of b4 here. Really, what I should have done is I should have just taken the pawn, h takes, and then obviously if he tries to attack the bishop, I just play bishop f2, which is what I saw all along. I push my pawn, this is really strong, and I'm guarding any kind of attack. I'm controlling all of these squares on the first row, so he can never sweep a rook like around it. And I'm actually threatening this pawn, so basically we can go takes. I didn't think that it worked here, because I thought that if I got into that position I took, he could then sweep the rook under, and I actually would be losing a piece in that position. But there are many times, again, like depending on how he moves his rooks, where this pawn will also fall. And then I just have this, clear queening spot. Anyway, I did see that, but it looks like I made a move order mistake because I played b4 first, thinking that he has to retreat knight 3 to e2. And then, basically, my idea was, certainly I've got to be winning material here, trapping his rook. That's what I saw. Like, that's what I thought I forced, for the record. And then, depending what he does, then take the pawn. But ideally, I thought I was just winning an exchange with this move. But he shocks me. When I play b4, he plays knight b3. And I remember I saw this move, I was like, what the fuck is this? And I get worried because it was not a move I anticipated at all. Now, it ends up it's a blunder, as you guys can tell, so maybe that's why I didn't see it. But yeah, I start thinking, I start calculating, I'm like, all right, if I take, he takes, I take, he's zeroing down, like I guess he could like check, take, and like I didn't love this position. I thought that he's maybe in command here. He's defending the e pawn. He has ideas of basically getting his knight to e6. This pawn's not going anywhere. It's a shield for the king. So I didn't think I wanted to do that. I then I saw all this stuff, and I was like, why is he not moving this knight? I saw drawing back. I was like, okay, is this a thing? Is this a move? With the idea I'm still targeting this knight, and if he tries to move his knight in, I can then just obviously take it. I can snap it off. He would like move over here, and I thought there wasn't much. Like maybe I then would push my c pawn. That was my idea. But then after like walking through the calculations, I realized that I just have bishop f2, and I spent a while calculating this because I wanted to make sure it worked. And the reason why is if he attacks, then I can play g3. I lock everything down, and this is exactly what happened. So he plays here. I take with the pawn, and then he surprises me again. Like I thought that he's like totally boxing himself in, and he plays out wide. And at first I'm like, okay, this is just a free piece. Like I've done it. Like this should be game. And then I realize his idea. He's deflecting my knight. And I have to run through the calculations of okay, he deflects my knight because I take like knight takes knight, and then I see bishop take check. I thought I'd move to e7. He then takes my c-pawn, and in that position, he's hitting both my knight, which is unguarded, and my rook. But then I realize I can sacrifice my rook, the exchange, bring my knight back. I'm then defending the key squares. When he trades his bishop for the rook, I would then take with the h-rook, and I thought in that position, I'm winning 2 pieces for the rook. He has no other compensation. I have the advanced pawn. That's still easily winning. And when I realized those calculations, I looked at all the other spots, like what he could do with his checks with the knights. I realized that I was like 100% safe, and that was completely winning. So then I just took. And, it's got to be the best move. So he goes into the line, and I was wondering if he saw something that I didn't see. By the way, computer gives this move a brilliant. Very proud of that. Because I did see this, because obviously he's hitting it, and I'm totally fine to give up the exchange at this point. So I just take, and again, I see this skewer idea. He starts by taking my e-pawn. It doesn't matter. I take back. I saw that I couldn't ignore it and play this immediately because he has this in-between move, the check. And actually, if he dislodges me, I mean, I think I'd move up. If I take, he can actually break the skewer this way. I suppose in this line I could still play here. Then maybe he's got like this knight check. I don't know. I don't know. This becomes a little bit awkward. Here, check. No, this doesn't work because then I take this piece anyway. Whatever. The point is, I didn't think that there was any need for any of that silliness. So I just took back. He then moves his knight. I spent a few minutes calculating, seeing if any of these checks were scary. I realized they were not because obviously I could run up. He never has any check on the back rank, and he never has a check on d4. I'm controlling the d4 square. This rook is taking all of these knight moves away. Knight moves! Bob Seger. So I allow it. I move back, and I just play my move because I thought this just wins material on the spot and probably with it the game. He checks me. I move up. I don't see any other checks I need to worry about. He sacrifices the rook. I take back. And I end the game in style, guys. What's the move? And the move that wins the game on the spot. I was very proud of myself for this one. He resigned immediately after I played it. It looks like I'm losing this pawn, right? No, I play rook g8. And it's great because if he takes it... Oops, shoot. I shouldn't have done that because I will mess up. Anyway, the point is, the game ended. He resigned there. If he takes it, I have checkmate. If he doesn't do anything, like let's say he puts, look for the king, I'm coming down rook g1 anyway, and then this is unavoidable. I make a queen, and the game ends. So, yeah, so that was the game, and honestly, I was pretty. I mean, this is gonna mess with the game review. I think when I did the game review real quickly, I think he had like an 85% accuracy. Yeah, so that one move at the end ruined it for him, or something like that. Anyway, the point is, I played at 85%. Which is like a good but not great. So overall, my impressions. Actually, let's turn on the computer real quick. Go over this one, and then I'll talk about my own play and how let's quickly talk about the 3 games. So 3 games, 3 brilliance. 1 of them by my opponent, 2 of them by me. First game I got super lucky. He got into time trouble, and I super blundered a piece. It was one of the worst games I've played in a while. Second game, I played very strongly, but my opponent resigned in a completely drawn position. The endgame was challenging, but it turns out it's a hold. I played a great opening, and I just wasn't able to convert. I blew it all with basically trading the rooks. I really regretted that. Kid made it really hard on me. And then this game here against Nicholas, I think I played well. I think I found some key moves. My accuracy wasn't pinpoint high, but and my again my opponent newer to over the board chess did make some mistakes or whatnot. But yeah, so I felt like I felt like I was actually getting better as the day went on, even though I was getting exhausted. Remember, I'd been up when the tournament. I'd already been up since like 2 in the morning or something. So by the time I bounced at like 5 p.m., I was ready to go to bed. To be completely honest. All right. So as noted, this is all book. This is all theory. Like I do know this. And then here, I just made a big mistake. Yes, c6 the move. Thank you. The c6 with the idea now if he goes also known as the queenside castle, I can just retreat to c7. And this is what's in my notes. And this is a position I like playing. I do get this online too from time to time. And his best move is to go bishop c4 right away to basically take this diagonal. It's really important. I probably would block. He would trade, I would trade, and we get that position. But that's not what happened. That ain't what happened. I'm just actually really curious. I'm pretty sure blocking with the bishop is the best play. Huh. Computer wants to sacrifice the pawn. I guess because I then take here, and then after b takes, computer wants to go here first. And if he moves back, that's when I can take on e4. Okay. Hitting his bishop. winning the pawn back, and he's got this weakness. He would probably move all the way back to like these. Whoa. Right, and now I'm just threatening this fork. Right, okay. Doi. So his only move is actually here. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. And this is just really good for me, because then trade, and I get the active rook on the second file. Okay. No, second row. Second rank and file. Rank and file. There we go. That's what it comes down to. All right. Nonetheless, I played king over, and I think I opened the door to again, yeah, to go trade, knight here. Oh, that's my alarm. 1 second. All right. That is my alarm. Okay, no worries there. Let's continue with the analysis, if you will. So yeah, I made a bit of a mistake there. He misses it. He just queenside castles. I think I got kind of lucky. I really should have just played c6 anyway in this position. My move is second best, but it's the second best move, but it's not as elegant. It gives back the bishop pair. He takes, and again, I'm pretty sure he should just play knight d5. He doesn't, though, and as soon as he plays bishop d3, it's worth noting that this is a mistake, a clear mistake, because, again, it's a very inactive piece, and it's actually blocking in his rook. It's just a bad move. Don't have to be an expert to see that one. But I played a bad move myself, and it's crazy, because in my mind, I just, splooted this one out, thinking I'm just attacking the pawn, I was going to induce that, and, again, I have these ideas. But I really just need to stick to the c6 idea. I have no idea why I went away from this. Again, I should probably review my opening stuff, how I wanted to play this Pierce structure. I didn't. And thankfully, he misses the idea. I mean, he plays f3, which is what I thought he'd have to play when I played this immediately. And then as soon as I played and he was thinking, I was like, oh man, he doesn't actually have to play f3. And I was very glad he didn't find this move. Because I do think knight d5 is, very good. I have to trade, and then after he takes here, yes, I can, win this pawn, but it's not so great. I mean, this position for white feels fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm up a pawn, but yeah, it's fine. All right, none of that happened, though. He just plays f3. Finally, I play c6. It's not even the best move anymore, which is funny. In fact, I should probably just get my knight into the game because, the last undeveloped piece. Still a good move. I just saw it late and played it late, but better late than never. Yeah, it's funny. The computer is saying hey, you should just actually go king b1 here to take away my the checks for my dark square bishop. But he gets his last piece in the game, and it's worth noting. The computer already says black is just solidly better. Minus 0.7. White is a little more cramped. I've got the bishop pair. My king is more centralized, which in the queenless middle game is an advantage for black. So I play h5. Computer likes the plan. Again, I'm just trying to create some space. Again, kill off computer's already suggesting that he plays something like knight g3. That was a huge reason why I played h5. Is I thought I could eject it at the right time. For example, if I eject it now, I think it's a good move. It is a good move. Yeah, the computer's even saying knight f5. Honestly, I would trade here. They just say to just develop my knight, but I would have just taken, I think, which apparently loses me the advantage. But takes, and I thought in this position I'm doing well. But I guess I'm wrong. I guess I'm wrong. All right. Nonetheless, he moves his king over. Let's find out. I play h5. No, king b1. They're saying is the best move, and they're giving him a mistake for it. I thought it was a great move. I thought it was a great prophylactic move. And they're calling it an accuracy. This makes no sense. It's literally listed as one of the 2 best moves, and they now label it an accuracy. Whatever. Won't spill milk over that one. I thought it was a good move. I play knight d7. Which, again, the computer says is the best move, but now they're not even saying it's the best move. I hate the engine sometimes. Okay. Okay, computer. You can think that. He plays f4. And I didn't realize. So the computer does say I should just take with my e-pawn. But I thought that this was, like, pretty good for white. Computer wants me to play king e7, connecting my rooks, which makes sense. And I guess it's not so easy for white to continue. For example, they're just saying something like h3, a3. Normally when the computer suggests moves like that, it's a little confused. I think a3 makes sense. He needs some luft. Again, he had like back rank issues at the very end of the game. The game was already over at that point, but that did seal the deal. He probably needed like some escape, you know, an escape route. Nonetheless, yeah, it's funny. Like what I played, bishop to g4, is much worse than just taking. I really didn't think I wanted to take this pawn. Because I just thought this was, I mean, apparently this is -1, minus 1.1. But I just thought that this was good for white. And maybe actually, because I did want to get my knight to e5. And then the lines where his rook was here, I thought I'd have to take with a pawn. But now that I'm able to take with a knight, maybe this is good again? Maybe? I mean, the key is if he ever takes my bishop, it fixes my pawns. And then I have the centralized pawns against the isolated pawns. So clearly black is better here. 1.2, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but yeah. Alright. So this is just apparently a mistake. I thought this was a good move, breaking the pin. Computer prefers h3. Just kicking my bishop. Here I would have had to trade. Trade, takes back the knight, and here g8, which was my plan. Oh, I see. The computer says the best move, and it still advantaged black. Obviously, he could trade here, but I was hoping at any point he trades, because then I get my knight on a great square. But the computer says he can actually just play g3, and his knight is holding everything together. Yeah, so now the suggestions are like, you know, king e7 so I can connect my rooks. Maybe I double, things like that. Yeah. All right. After rook df1, computer likes perhaps rook d8, which makes sense. Centralizing it, getting it on the half open file. Oh no, the open file. Excuse me. D8. Rook g8, which is a move I was strongly considering. Bishop d6. Wasn't considering that. Maybe I should have. But that means maybe I could take, but it still doesn't make much sense. Or if he takes, maybe it lets me take back with a bishop instead. Instead, I play b5, which I thought made sense. Yeah, and this is just a bad move, the knight c1. Computer says that his best move for like equality is h3. Just kicking my bishop. And again, forcing me to trade it off. Yeah. And if we went trade, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I mean trade, I feel like white's doing fine here. Instead he plays knight c1, which is definitely very passive, and this lets me play h4. And the computer loves this idea. Well, it makes sense. I'm trying to free a space for my bishop to retreat. But also I think it like locks down his pawns. And g3 is just an absolute mistake. Absolute mistake. I mean, the whole time I thought that he was just going to play h3. And don't get me wrong, I like this position. But, like, this is what I saw. And I thought I was just doing well here. Yeah. Computer wants me to play, like, a4 or clarify the position in the middle of the board. Again, if he takes with his rook here, I thought I had to take with the f-pawn. And I really wanted to take with the knight. I thought that my knight is basically just a full-on, full-throttle defender. Now they're saying like a4 ideas, which is hard for them to play. Start breaking open the king side, or excuse me, that's the queen side, but that's where the king currently resides. And it's just advantage black. I'm just doing really well here, so not much needs to be said about that. Let me check this real quick. 40 minutes, cool. This will be a quick recap actually, because I don't have really much to add. We're just kind of going through the computer moves. Yeah, I mean, again, this was just a blunder. And they don't like my move best, though. I thought my move made a lot of sense. But they want to go b4 first, for example, or king e7. The two improving moves that I've been wanting to make, for the record. But alright, so like let's say I launch my pawn forward. He plays knight a4. Computer suggests I can just be aggressive. I can play bishop e3. Maybe with the idea of threatening to take. So it kind of forces his hand. And after takes... Wow, they're saying I can go knight takes and I can sacrifice the pawn. Why is that? What tactic am I missing? Oh, because now, if he takes with the rook, h takes, he can't take back because his rook is pinned. So you have to go something like this, and now that lets me play g2. Nice tactic. Queening. I'm winning a rook forking. Yeah, okay, cool. So that pawn is not actually... cannot actually... 1 second. 1 second. Hello, let me call you back in 1 minute. Getting a phone call there. As I'm finishing this recap, I'll finish up strong. He runs with his rook. I attack the rook. He runs with the rook. And this is where I lose the advantage. I just miss it. Kind of the equivalent of dropping a pawn. Instead, I should just go h takes g3 here. I'm really surprised, though, that the computer wants me to do this, because I thought takes... What exactly is my follow-up? Now b4? Rook h3, for example, if I want to stay on the egress. I guess this makes sense, because he can't actually defend this pawn. He can't play rook to e3, because I snipe it. So maybe I am just winning the pawn, like, outright here. So let's say he goes bishop f1. I can just take the pawn. He takes the bishop, I take the bishop. And, yeah, this is just, like, good for me. Say he takes the pawn. I really would want to take with the knight, to be honest. And this position, 1, 2, 3, 4 pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm up a pawn. I'm better, but I don't think it's winning yet. I need to get my king up and my rook over. That's what I would do in this situation. Anyway, he plays bishop e2. Again, I just totally missed that he could do this. I realized that in retrospect, I probably should have traded it. I keep bishops on because I have the bishop pair, and I've blown the advantage. I've blown the lead. He then plays bishop g4. Great move, bearing down. I play the only move, knight b6. Again, he's bearing down here. It says knight d3 is his best move. Knight d3. I think in the post cap, Nicholas mentioned that he probably should have gone here, because now I don't have bishop to f2 to attack the rook. Yeah. So instead, the computer suggests something like, bishop d4, which is probably what I would have played. And then he's starting to basically jump his knights. So, for example, knight e2. He's now targeting this bishop. So maybe I'd move it again. Just kind of keep trying to wiggle it and keep everything free. It's hard, though. But White has a small advantage at this point. However, he missed that idea after I played knight b6. Instead, he shoves forth h3, just total blunder, and this lets me do my thing. Apparently, this was a mistake. I should just take right away. Yeah. I thought he has this move. No, because I still go here. Now I play b4. I'm just seeing this out. Can he pin me? How is this not pinned? Whoops. Oh, duh. Because I'm attacking his... like I take here. Wait. Bishop takes on c3. Oh, just b takes on c3. I see. I see. And then if he takes here, it's fine. I take, he takes, I take. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, I guess he could take over here, or he could take back. I would take back. And this is a very nice endgame for me, but it's not over yet, actually. Let's see, he takes this pawn. I threaten to trade the rooks. Rook trade, king takes. And in this endgame, if this wildness occurred, apparently the computer says minus 1.7 or minus 1.8. It's like great for me. I guess it makes sense. Like we have symmetrical pawns, except I have an F pawn and he doesn't. So it's pretty comfortable. Not gonna lie, that would be pretty nice. Instead, he after b4, he misses it. He plays knight b3. It's a total blunder. And it looks like I played good moves. I played the best moves here. I played bishop f2. Looks like he needs to play like knight e2 or something. He needs to give. The computer says already he needs to just give up the exchange. He doesn't, and as soon as this happens, my move that I saw was best. I'm happy with myself. He now plays a4. I was calculating, again, is there anything here for me to be worried about? I decide no. I take, and the rest is history. He checks me. Doesn't matter. Looks like running the king to f8 or over here or e7 are basically the same. I played the better move, but they're both really close. To d8 would be unnecessary trouble. Sticking myself right in the line of the rook, I don't know. I would not do that, of course. So I run up. He takes the pawn, and they actually say rook a d8 because it threatens the back rank, which would have been pretty nice actually. But so I see how that's the best move. And I can just immediately skewer him. I'm actually surprised that this works, bishop f3. Because can he check on d2 first? No, because once I play f8, he's stuck in the same exact position as he was before. Which is to say, lost. Alright, well, whatever. The computer gave me a brilliant for my move, giving the exchange, not caring about it. I'm proud of that, He takes, I take. If you look at the material count, first off, this pawn's a beast, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the surface, as many pawns. Oh no, he's got a rook. But I've got 2 bishops and he has 0 bishops. So, white is just crushing. -5. He takes, it looks like I did play the right moves here, kind of taking back. He tries one last try over here, and I end the game with bishop f3. It lines it up. There's not much he can do. The last gasp is the knight c6 check, which is again what he plays. But when he does this, I can move my king anywhere. It looks like all these moves are the same. What did I do? I played king e6, which is almost as good as f6. Apparently running is slightly better. Maybe running and hiding. But yeah, once I move up, he sacks his rook, takes, he tries to stop me from queening. And yeah, the move that's -10, and I found it, I'm proud of myself, to end the game on the spot, is rook g8. And he shook my hand. Alright, again, I feel like I played pretty well here. It was like an 85% accuracy game for me, so it wasn't anything special, but I definitely was seeing the board pretty clearly. I think I gave my thoughts overall. Won the tourney, which makes me feel pretty good. I don't think the results are up here. Let's just quickly check, because this video has been not quite 50 minutes. This was a quick one. Didn't think it would be long. Looks like it's not up yet. But we can find the we can find it here maybe. Yeah, boom. 3.5 points. Looks like my rating is back over 1600. Again, it's been kind of wobbling around that, 1622. Based on how I do on Tuesday, it should go up a little bit more, given my results in the Tuesday Swiss. Pretty happy with myself. Got to keep on rolling, keep the good times rolling. Anyway, I'm gonna be playing different black openings because I need a different answer to e4 because I just see e4 every single game, and my d6 perk is a little bit tired now, a little bit wired, a little bit lired. All right, I don't have anything else of like any import to say. I think I played pretty well. I was exhausted. I'm glad I won. All right, have a good night. Bye.